Are dictators always bad? I mean, has there ever been like a good one? Honestly, the term dictator and its usage in the early Roman Republic was not meant to describe a totalitarian megalomaniac at all. As other words like tyrant and autocrat already existed. The Senate of the Roman Republic would elect a dictator for a 6-month term in order to deal with some kind of task that was beyond the scope of the Senate. They would ensure that the task was tightly delineated so that the dictator couldn't overstep his power in any regard. Also, while the dictator was in charge for the 6 months, the Senate and the tribune of the plebs would still have some kind of veto power over him. After his term, the dictator could be prosecuted for any crimes committed while he was in office. The best example of a dictator is this guy named Cincinnatus, who was a Roman senator, and he was elected dictator in order to save a trapped Roman army from assault by a neighboring tribe, the Aequi. He accepted this role, raised an army pretty much overnight, and had the whole situation dealt with in 2 weeks. And instead of hanging on to power for 5.5 months, he just gave it up immediately and went back to his farm. The story of a dictator humbly accepting his appointment, performing his duty, and then subsequently resigning his power once his obligation was finished, would serve as a virtuous example that was even admired by early Americans. They would nickname George Washington the American Cincinnatus, for simply for behaving similarly and giving up his power after the Revolutionary War and his term in office. The city of Cincinnati was even named after this nickname. What happened to dictators and their reputation? As the Roman Republic stabilized, the need for an extra judiciary force to come in and kind of right the ship arose less and less. Also, as the politics of the Roman Senate developed and became more and more complex, getting the senators to agree on anything as unanimous as electing a dictator became virtually impossible. The term dictator becoming an epithet probably has more to do with the last two dictators than any other ones. These two guys were Lucius Cornelius Sulla and Gaius Julius Caesar. A lot of you probably recognize. Details of how they would function as dictators is too much for this video, but essentially they would pervert the institution away from taking care of a certain task and towards ensuring that they or their political allies would be able to neutralize all forms of political opposition. Essentially, the role of dictator began as a way to ensure the survival of republican norms and virtues, but eventually would degrade to exist only to serve power and the protection of power in general. Follow for more.